What's up, guys? This is Hatsmania. I'm coming to you with a brand new deck profile this week, and this week I am doing Sylvan's. I really like this deck. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely only like tier 3 locals, tier 2, whatever the heck you want to call it. I don't really care. I just really like this deck. It's a lot of fun. The fact that it's a milling deck means you don't always know how it's going to play out, but regardless, it's still really fun to play, and it does have some little nifty tricks in it still that I can pull out and still really kind of surprise your opponent with. So let's get into it. I'm playing 3 Sylvan Sage Koya. This is undoubtedly my favorite card in the deck. It's level 7, 2600 attack. It's a wind monster. All the monsters in this deck are plant with the exception of Curry Bandit, which I'll get to that when I get to it. But anyway, Sage Koya does when a Sylvan monster is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon him from your hand except during the damage step. Once per turn, you can excavate the top card of your deck, which is one of the main things of the deck. And if it's a planet-type monster, you send it to the graveyard, otherwise place it on the bottom of your deck. Also, if he is excavated from the deck and sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one Sylvan spell or trap card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. I like him a lot, just simply because it lets me replace my Sylvan Charities and my Mount Sylvanias if they, for some odd reason, end up in the graveyard, and that's probably a little bit more likely for the Sylvanias simply because of Twin Twister coming out this week. Sage Koya is really good for that recovery. He's also really good because he gets out the rank 7s, which I only play 4 of down there. And yeah, he's just a fun card. Plus, he looks really funny, so that's why I really like him. 3 Sylvan Hermitry. He's a level 8, 2700 attack, plant fire. Once per turn, you can excavate the top card of your deck, and if it's a plant-type monster, send to the graveyard, just like Sage Koya. And then if he's excavated, look at up to the top 3 cards of your deck, and then place them on the top of the deck in any order. So he allows you to set up for your excavation plays, so you make sure you can get certain effects off, or you can draw onto other cards the next turn. And he works so well with Sylvania because, one, you can order the cards the way you want them to, so not only do you get the card you want excavated, but you also get the card that you want out of the top 3 cards of your deck. So when it comes around to your draw phase, or if you have to draw for some whatever reason. So Sylvan Hermitry, definitely really great, and he's also great for rank 8 plays, which I play 2 of down there. Moving on, 3 Sylvan Kumo Shrumo. Now, for a while, Sylvans were playing only 2 of this. I bumped it up to 3 for this deck, for this iteration of the deck, just simply because of pendulums. I really don't like playing pendulums with this deck, just simply because pendulums just by far outpace this, and it's just not as fun because obviously this is just a fun deck now. And Kumo Shrumo definitely helps with that defense. Just one, because when he's excavated, you get to target one spell or trap card on the field and destroy that. And obviously, pendulums are spells. Also, when he's flipped face up, he really helps get the deck going. And you can choose a number from 1 to 5 and then excavate that many cards from the top of your deck. And then get the whole plant type thing going with that. So Kumo Shrumo is definitely very vital now. And I think it warrants it to being up to 3, in my opinion. Moving on, 2 Sylvan Peacekeeper. I have a love-hate relationship with this card. One, it's awesome when you can normal or special summon it and then get the excavation. It really helps you get that going. Plus, he's great to mill as well, because then you can special summon level 4 lower plant type monsters from your graveyard, specifically things like Princess Sprout or Cherub Sprout. However, the downside is that he's a level 1, 400 attack, 100 defense. So leaving him out on the field kind of sucks a lot. So it's just... he's great when you're winning, essentially, and he's okay when he's kind of he's subpar when you're losing. So Peacekeeper, like some people like to play him at 3. I rarely want to see him not rarely want to see him. I want to see him enough, but not too much, essentially. And that's why I'm playing him at 2. 2 Sylvan Cherub Sprout. He's a key card in the deck. When you special summon, you get to mill 1 or 2 cards from the top of your deck. And then if he's let's see here. If he is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, or by an excavation card effect, excuse me, you can special summon a level 1 plant type monster from your deck, which can be either Princess Sprout, Peacekeeper, or another copy of himself, which he can then do another mill. So that's pretty interesting on that one. Moving on, 2 Sylvan Princess Sprout. This card, it's really really good when you have it. and then sometimes it's just not as good as well because you want it when you're winning and you don't want it when you're losing. So it's like it's another one of those cards like Peacekeeper, in my opinion, where it's just like you want it but you don't, and that's why again I'm playing it too. So you can tribute this card, excavate the top card of your deck, and send it to the graveyard. Then you can place one Sprout monster in your graveyard on top of your deck, so it can set up Peacekeeper or Cherub Sprout depending on the situation, and then Princess Sprout also has the effect of if it's excavated from the deck and sent to the graveyard by a card effect, uh, you can declare a level from 1 to 8, special summon this card from your graveyard, and if you do, it becomes that level. So it's really good for one, synchro plays, and two, the more importantly, Xyz plays. So Princess Sprout definitely very useful for that. Moving on to Sylvan Flower Knight. Now I know most Sylvan decks and by saying most, I'm saying like 99.99% of Sylvan decks do not play this card. I actually like it. I really like this card just simply because it's Sylvan Flower Knight, obviously. Just because he's a bigger beater. He's level 4. I don't play rank 4s, but like if I found the room, like I could take out like a Formula Synchron or the Armory Arm, not the Armory Arm, or like the Star Eater, and use those. But like I honestly just really like it just because it is an 1800 monster and it's a little bit harder to get out Sagekoya and Hermitry, and it's harder to keep and to do anything with in terms of attacking with Peacekeepers, Cherub Sprout, and Princess Sprout. So it allows me to have a little bit more offensive power, and that's why I like him at 2. If you don't know what he does, which most people shouldn't know what he does because most people don't use him, when he's normal summoned, you can excavate the top card of your deck, and he gets the whole plant type thing going with that with Sylvans. And then also, if this card is excavated from the deck and sent to the graveyard, you can choose one Sylvan card from your deck and place it on the top of your deck. I like him for that reason as well. Just one, it can help you set up. If you are able to special summon, then you special summon. That turn, or you can activate Sylvan Charity and then get the draw as well. So that's always really good. Like he allows me to combo a little bit. So Flower Knight it's a fun card for me. Moving on, 3 Lone Fire Blossom. The majority of the deck is plant type monsters, so Lone Fire is definitely very welcome. A lot of Sylvan players only play 2. I like 3 because I typically mill both. So Lone Fire, I like it at 3. 2 Curry Bandit. This is another way to excavate and mill cards. The unfortunate part is that you can only add one Spell Trap card to your hand from it, which sucks because sometimes you might mill like 4 or 5 spells and you can only add one of them. But nonetheless, Curry Bandit I think is still useful for the deck to run. 1 Spore and 1 Glow Up Bulb. I think that's pretty standard for Sylvans. Spore and Glow Bulb are both tuners. Spore allows you not only to tune but also to rank. He doesn't rank 7 just because of the way I run the deck, but he can rank 8 by banishing a Sagekoya. And he can help rank 4 by banishing a Marsh Leaf, and if you have a Flower Knight on the field, it just depends on the situation. So Spore is just that. He's good. He's pretty good. And Glow Up Bulb, honestly, I like Spore more than Glow Up Bulb in this deck, just because Glow Up, well, yes, like you can't get the excavation effect off of Glow Up Bulb, which is a shame. So that's really why I like Spore more. Finally, 1 Rose Lover. I'm not playing this at 2 or 3 just because it sucks to draw. It sucks to draw so much. You want to excavate it really bad, and if you can't excavate it, if you do draw it, you can always send it to the grave with Sylvania, or you can put it back in the deck with Sylvan Charity. So that's why I only run 1, because it's kind of a dead draw in general. So yeah, that's why. If you don't know what Rose Lover does, you can banish it from the graveyard and special summon 1 plant type monster from your hand. Also, that monster is unaffected by trap effects for the rest of the turn. So Rose Lover is definitely really useful for that. Moving on, 3 Sylvan Charity. This card is God in this deck. Draw 3 cards. Then if you have a Sylvan card in your hand, reveal 2 cards from your hand, including at least 1 Sylvan card, and place them on top of your deck in any order. So for example, if I were to do something stupid, let's say I have a Sylvan Charity in my hand, and I activate it, and I draw into a Flower Knight, a Marshall Leaf, or no, a Flower Knight, a Kumo Shrumo, and a Peacekeeper. And I would keep the Flower Knight and put back the Kumo Shrumo and the Peacekeeper and put the Kumo Shrumo back on top. Normal summon the Flower Knight, get the effect to mill. Kumo Shrumo goes to grave, and then I get to pop a spell or trap. So, and not only that, I got to thin out my deck a little. So Sylvan Charity is definitely really, really useful. That's just one example of a small combo you can do, and it's so fantastic in this deck. There's so many things you can do with it. 2, Mount Sylvania. I'm not playing 3 just because I don't think it's warranted to play a 3. I don't like drawing into multiples of field spells in general. Just because you can't, like, you can only have one on field, obviously. So, 1 Mount Sylvania is enough for me. And then, like, it's really good. Being able to mill during the end phase of my opponent's turn is really good. And then, also, being able to send a plant-type monster from my hand to the graveyard is also good as well. Also, this does combo pretty well with Sylvan Hermitry because Hermitry allows you to draw on top of that. So like with his own effects. So both of these cards are like not like they don't combo directly, but they combo the fact that they help you thin out your deck a lot. So Mount Sylvania is definitely really useful, and plus Hermitry allows you to set up for Sylvania on your opponent's turn too. 3 MST. It's pretty good. 3 Miracle Fertilizer. Typically, when you build a heavy monster build, you don't play Miracle Fertilizer. I like Miracle Fertilizer in this deck because I'm milling so many monsters at once. It allows me to reuse those monsters just because I go through monsters so quickly. And Miracle Fertilizer is definitely really, really important for that. 1 Soul Charge. The 1 Soul Charge, I like, sometimes I wish I had it, sometimes I don't, just simply because it can like burn through my life points so easily. So it's just it's okay. 1 Raigeki because it's Raigeki, and then 1 Vanity's Emptiness because it's so easy to get rid of it. And it also can really shut down my opponent. Moving on, for the extra deck, I play the 1 Rank 1 Slacker Magician. This is to utilize the level 1s that are dead on my field. Otherwise, I would just tune with them if I could, but sometimes I can't. So Slacker Magician is a good card for that because it can't be run over by battle once per turn, and it can't be targeted once per turn. So it's like, actually no, it can't be targeted up to twice in the same turn, and like depending on how many Xyz material it has. So Slacker Magician is definitely really good for that. 2 Alcei, he has a big butt and he has a great effect, so that's why I'm playing 2 of them. 2 Aurea. Aurea is definitely the biggest beater in the deck that I would summon most of the time. However, because the format has changed so drastically since Sylvans were good, I don't use Aurea nearly as much as I used to. 1 number 11 Big Eye. Big Eye is definitely really useful. It's just unfortunate that he targets. 1 Red Eyes because he puts pressure on my opponent. 1 Felgran because it's Felgran. 1 number 107 because he's actually really good right now with battle effects being stupid. 1 Formula Synchron. This is, in all honesty, Formula Synchron can be taken out, as can Star Eater, just simply because I don't go into these nearly as often as I would like. 1 Armory Arm, 1 Clearwing, 1 Crimson Blader, and 1 Trishula. And when you can make Trishula, you make Trishula in this format, with the exception of Cosmos, because it's just, it just shuts down pendulum decks really well, especially if you're banishing, like, not really shut them down, it just helps stall them a little bit. Especially if, like, for some odd reason you were to play this against a Pepe deck and you're able to get a Plush Fire off board, yes, that's great. So, so yeah. So thank you guys for watching this deck profile. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a great day.